Alright, so according to Nova Online's neighbor, Nova Online allegedly unalived his dog. And this isn't hard to believe because there's a video where if you watch that video after that, you'll say, yeah, it's much more believable that he did that. So let's check out this clip. Alright, so as you just saw right there, what seemed to be happening was that Nova Online's dog was barking in the background, right? And then he turned his chair around towards the dog and it seemed like he kicked. Now, here's the thing. We didn't see the actual impact itself, so maybe he kicked near the dog, maybe it was the dog, I don't know. But that is pretty concerning behavior that he acts like this towards his dog. So when you see this video and then you see what the neighbor alleged regarding Nova and his treatment of his dog, all of a sudden now it's like, this is a lot more believable. And in terms of the source for this stuff was said by a YouTube channel named Bloodspeth, which made a lengthy post giving details about Nova Online. And that post also mentioned how Nova Online couldn't push his mother, who was on a wheelchair, up a ramp into the house. And they literally have to call the fire department every time she has to get pushed into the house. And now, in case you think that it's a bit unbelievable that Nova doesn't have the strength to do this, let's take a look at a clip from the YouTube channel Bloodspeth that makes this a lot more believable. So let's check this out.
Just for some context, around a few months ago, Nova was raising money so he could fix his bike that he was planning to do DoorDash with. I am not sure how he was planning to do that. It's not like he lives in a very compact big city. He lives in like a small town where you have to drive everywhere, so I don't know how he was planning on bike riding DoorDash everywhere, but that was his plan. And it's been that way for a few months now, with no update on the bike because they reached the $300 goal. Only recently, he finally gave us an update, and apparently there's a lot more wrong with the bike than just the misaligned chain, per Nova, of course. And this video shows him not even being able to lift the bike onto a truck bed that's like 2.5 feet off the ground, and then he slips trying to get inside of the passenger seat of the truck.
Alright, so as you just saw right there, Nova Online was struggling to actually lift his tricycle up into the truck bed of that truck right there. And I think he was like trying to take it somewhere to have it repaired, right? However, it's like, bro, look at that. Like, when you take a look at how he doesn't have the strength to do that, you very quickly begin to think, okay, it actually makes sense that the neighbor was alleging that Nova Online couldn't push his mom's wheelchair while she was sitting on it over the ramp into the house. And they literally call fire department to show up every single time she has to be pushed in. And now, in case you think that the fire department thing was just completely fabricated or, oh, no way that that's true, well, the YouTube channel Bloodspeth actually made a community post where they shared a picture regarding that. So let's check this out. So here you can see that Bloodspeth made this community post with a caption that says, "Here is an image from a security camera of the fire department helping Nova's mom wheel up the ramp." And right below the caption you can see how there's that photograph of fire department personnel trying to help Nova's mom up using the ramp into the house. So it's not just one of those things where there's no evidence provided, but rather we have a photograph of what the security camera saw outside their home. Now, real quick, I just want to say that I'm giving out shoutouts on this channel to people who subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment letting me know that they subscribed. If you do that, then in the next video, I'll give you a shoutout. Now, as for one of the previous videos, I want to give out a shoutout to this person, Void Light YT. Thank you so much for the subscribe, I really appreciate it. Now anyway, back to the video. Now there's another clip I want to show you from the YouTube channel Bloodspeth where it shows some stuff outside of Nova Online's home. So let's check out this clip.
Showing his yard, and oh my goodness, there seems to be a trailer in his yard full of trash and boxes, along with what appears to be 3 mopeds. I think one of them's maybe a motorcycle. Quite honestly, I don't know why he can't just ride those instead of fixing his tricycle.
Alright, so yeah, I just don't think that it's a good idea to have the outside of your house look like that. I think you definitely should, tidy up the place and clean it up, Like, what's up with all those boxes that were inside what seems to be a trailer? And, hey man, aren't you supposed to just, get rid of those, put those in the trash can or something? And also, I think they should probably get rid of those weeds and stuff. There's overgrowth of vegetation that shouldn't be there. We're not talking about stuff grass that's actually supposed to be there on the lawn, but rather we're talking about vegetation that's there because it's a sign of neglect. If you don't maintain your driveway, then stuff like that's gonna start to grow over time. Now let's go back to that community post that Bloodspeth made and check it out. So it says, I just finished an hour-long interview with Nova's neighbor, and oh my god, I can't even put into words how bad everything I heard was. Here are some of the main points. Keep in mind, everything is alleged. Another neighbor and elderly woman claimed that during a tantrum, Nova kicked one of his dogs so hard that they died. So this is that thing that we talked about in the beginning. Now let's continue the post. It continues, his mom overdosed on weed, according to Nova, and spent 30 days at a rehab facility. She was in a wheelchair when she came back. They waited until the last second to install the ramp, and she fell over while Nova was pushing her up. He was unable to lift her, and she had to lay in the gravel for 30 minutes while the fire department came. Every time Nova's mother comes home now, they have to call the fire department because Nova cannot push her up the ramp. They've came around 4 times in the past 2 weeks. Every time the fire department comes, most of them wear masks and show visible disgust after leaving the home. So this is that thing about the fire department and the ramp and the wheelchair that I talked about earlier. Now let's continue the post. It continues, Nova's aunt comes once a month to make him clean. Mainly, she makes him put on gloves and clean his dog's waste because he never walks him or takes him outside. His dog also runs away often. Nova stands on his porch and screams his dog's name, Mouse, at the top of his lungs, usually at night. He orders DoorDash 2 to 3 times a day, usually 7-Eleven, convenience store snacks/drinks, or random restaurants. I'm speechless. Alright, so that thing about how Nova Online doesn't clean his dog's waste is once again a part of a larger pattern of not treating a pet dog well. And also there's that thing where he barely takes his dog outside or for a walk, and if you have a dog, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to take them out for walks and stuff like that. And then it mentions that his dog actually runs away often, which makes sense because the dog really wants to go outside, so it just decides to run away, right? And then the thing is that the dog's name is Mouse, and Nova Online yells it, and this usually happens at night. So basically, imagine you're in that neighborhood and you're trying to sleep and somebody keeps yelling Mouse, Mouse. And you're probably thinking, wait, is there an actual mouse that this person saw? Some mouse that got into their house or something? But no, it's not a mouse, it's a dog that's just named Mouse. And Nova yells its name at night. So yeah, not very great for the neighbors. So yeah guys, those were my thoughts on the situation. And now I'm interested in hearing what you have to say down in the comments below. So leave a comment letting me know what you think and we can have a discussion down there. And with all that being said guys, this is Alexi, signing out.